Hello everyone, welcome to my complete Fiddlesticks guide, and in this video I will be trying to break down my ideas on Fiddlesticks and how I think that you should play it, or at least to my own experience, in terms of items and runes, as well as some combos that you can do, and at the same time we will be talking about some game plan strategies and how to play properly, or how to play the team fights in a way that we can be effective at any stage of the game, right? So let's get going by starting with the items first. So let's see. When it comes to fiddlesticks in the jungle, I think that there are two types of main rune pages that you should go along for obvious reasons. And since Fiddlesticks is an assassin and he's a very ultralight champion, going going a first strike radiation rune page actually fits him very well in terms of his game style, right? The idea is that whatever you do with Fiddlesticks, and I mean you could close the fight or close the even skirmish with your ultimate, and your ult actually takes about 5 seconds of time, if I remember correctly, but we can check in the combo section as well. Uh, what I'm trying to say is that you would want to finish the fight in these 5 or 6 seconds. That's why if you can proc first strike, as you can see, first strike actually deals 7% extra damage against champions, and we would get the 70% of the damage that we deal as bonus gold, right? Not only as a damage option, but also as a gold accelerator. Actually, this build is, in my own experience, is very optimal. That's why I almost always go with this build, but I'll explain the other burn page as well. And secondary wise, I think triple tonic is extra good because at first we want to max our W's ability with Fiddlesticks, but when it comes to the mid game, especially around levels 11 and 12-ish, we would want to be maxing our Qs as well, because max, even though it's not very thought like that, the Q actually deals so much damage, especially the targets that is already feared, right? That's why, uh, especially for this ninth level, the elixir of skill actually gives you a lot of value. Not to mention the level 6 spike as well. The first ultimate, it would gives you a elixir of force, and that would also increase your chances of success with your first ultimate, right? And also the minor level 3 elixir of Ares, which grants you as a little bit of an amount of gold, right? But on the other hand, you can opt into the Hextech Flash Traption, because but this is a very niche build, and if you know what you're doing with this build, you would want to be basically trying to flash on the walls with your Hextech Flash Traption in a way that you would pressure the map more earlier than your opponents. And this type of gameplay actually aims for the early game, uh, which actually Fiddlesticks doesn't like. Fiddlesticks would like to clear his camps until 6, right? But with this game, if you have some specific type of gameplay or game plan, for example, if your only win condition is camping bot and making sure that they are ahead, you can definitely take this option as well. I wouldn't wanna go into magical footwear because I will be talking about this in items. So future markets, obviously, none of these two runes gives us a lot of value. An extra gold, extra power spikes first, and then our opponents actually is very nice. And finally, cosmic insight, so that we have a just extra bit of spell haste on our flash, and as well as our smite. And if you go Zonias with Fiddlesticks, it grants you a bit of item as well. And on the secondary page, we go domination skill tree, and we go eyeball collection, so that it grants you extra ability power, right? It grants you almost how much? It's 30 AP or more or less. And if you actually buy Rabadons, it grants you extra of, I mean, it almost makes up to 40 AP, right? 40 AP is almost a half an item. If not, if not, it's a item like Rabadons, right? But it 40 item is actually a really good amount of AP that you can get from this little rune. But you can also choose to go cheap shot. But as I said, as you can see, this its cooldown is 4 seconds, and especially when you are multiple when you're ulting multiple champions, uh, uh, actually this AP is more consistent. But the idea is that it takes more time to stack this rune fuel, right? So if you're again searching for a more linear scale, you can go this. But if you want to be scaling more up to the late game and lower into the early game, you can definitely go eyeball, and I almost always go eyeball. And ultimate hunter for obvious reasons, because we like to spam our ultimate. And on the other hand, yeah, let's say this. You can go electrocute rune page, mainly because is that uh, pre level 6 first strike doesn't do you anything, right? Because you're not dealing so much damage, the rune actually becomes kind of unnecessary. But if you're looking for these skirmishes pre 6 level, electrocute is much more, definitely much more better rune than first strike. That's why actually you should kind of design your gameplay in your head. Uh, but do not get me wrong, even after 6, actually, Electrocute is such a nice rune that you can actually deal some nice damage with it. So definitely give it a shot in your games, and according to your gameplay, you can change it up. And you can go sudden impact as well as cheap shot, as I explained. Sudden impact is mainly focused on your ultimate. So if you are want to be Ultra Reliant champion, go with sudden impact. But if you can proc this cheap shot multiple times, especially with your teams or with your Q and E's, you can definitely go between those. As I said, a eyeball collection is very good at this point, and you can go Ultimate Hunter again, same stuff, and the same stuff here as well. And you can choose these between these three. Those are all optimal conditions, and we go with double adaptive force with health scaling. So these are basically the runes, because in terms of if you want to play Fiddlesticks as an team fighter or as an assassin champion, right? So let's go with the items. So when it comes to Fiddlesticks, actually, I think that the core build looks something like this. So you would go Malignance, and Malignance is so good. We don't really get to use the mana stats so much, but the ability haste, and it grants you the Scorn passive. Actually, it grants you the ultimate ability haste. These are so good for Fiddlesticks, so that we can be perma pressuring the map. And also the 80 ability power is very nice. And what I usually would like to do is that I would go Shell Flame secondary, because actually this item gives you so much ability power, as well as Magic Pen. So, and more importantly, it's passive actually. Your abilities deal magical damage between opponents that are whose health below 35 threshold, right? 35% threshold to be more accurate. And at that point, since your W is your main source of damage, and your W deals extra damage based on your missing health, this item actually shines on that part. And if you want to finish the opponents with your W, as I will show you in the combos part, this item are actually so nice in terms of that. And then you would want to definitely go Revenant's Death Cat, because you would ramp up so much with this with Revenants. And I would like to 3 item spike in that way, and you would want to definitely go one more pen item regardless of the enemies. But you can always choose to not go if obviously the enemies doesn't build lots of MR, but trust me, probably they will. And Cryptolum is a bit better than the Void stuff, because it grants you also 15 abilities, but it compensates with 10 percent more magic pen. But with this, you would actually give you more value to your team. And the idea is that you would want to be buying all these four items actually, no matter what your build is. But you can always change in some stuff according to the team. So with Fiddlesticks, as some AP junglers, you would want to be changing between your game style. As I said, if you want to pressure your map with your Q and E's per 6 level, you can definitely go Sorcerer's Shoes, which will give you actually lots of mobility through map. Even through your camp clear speed, you can definitely recognize this. And it's very nice in terms of ramping up you the game. But if you are thinking that the game is very slow paced and nothing is much happening, you can definitely go and wait your gold with Malignus. But I would definitely recommend this going these two if you can first, because Dark Seal is actually also spiced very well with Fiddlesticks with his ultimates. That's why you can definitely opt in between these two. And if you have a good game, obviously you can upgrade this into Magi's, and then you can directly go to Rabadon's, and so on and so on. There are lots of opportunities here. So the remaining item, fifth, as I said here, but you can definitely go these items as secondary. So I will be explaining them very quickly. You can definitely choose to go Leander Storm it, but in most cases, Shadow Flame is better, especially the targets that whose health is not as much. But if the enemy team has so much tanks and bruisers, you can kind of play a game style where you would consider going more going with multiple rotations with your ability, so that your W you would use your W more than 2 or 3 times, and then Lianderis actually deals percent damage, so that you would get extra value on your W. As I said, it deals missing health damage, right? So that's one option against the enemy team. So you can go Hextech Rocket Belt, but I don't really like this. I mean, I like this item, do not get me wrong, but the idea is that 300 health, yeah, that it's nice, but most of the times you would be 100 to zeroing the enemy teams. So the Hextech Rocket Belt actually gives you so much accessibility, but uh, if if you can play this correctly and make use of the enemy mistakes, actually, you wouldn't need this item. But you can definitely give it a shot, and it will give you insane mobility as even with your ultimate, and even without your ultimate. Basically, you can protect QE enemies or use it to escape, since Fiddle lacks a bit of mobility. So that's also a very nice option. So Zhonya's Hourglass, as I said, I didn't mention this item up until this point because I wouldn't usually go Zhonya's Hourglass. You wouldn't believe me, but when I go, the idea is that, I mean, you wouldn't read the Zhonya's actives in most scenarios. So if you can really play with your team, or if you can really use your flanks as effective as possible. But at this point, with Zhonya's Hourglass, I would try to consider buying them in certain scenarios. For example, your Fiddlesticks and enemy team has exhaust, and that actually kind of sucks because the exhaust actually makes you completely useless champion if they use it while you're ulting, right? That's why the idea is that you would ult in a nice position, and then you would centralize yourself according to the enemy team, and then before giving the enemy chance to exhaust you, you would use Zhonya's Hourglass so that you would become untargetable, and that they would take your ultimate damage at that point. So you can definitely choose this if the enemy has if the enemy is using their exhaust very well, or if they even have an exhaust. Also, if the enemy has a Tristana, for example, they can directly shoot you off through team fight, or Lee Sin, or even Poppy. Some types of champions you can definitely opt in. The same idea here again, Banshee's Wheel. If you're revealed during your ultimate, some most time champions can interrupt your ultimate, right? It could be Poppy, it could be again Lee Sin. I mean, Lee Sin, it's a bit easier to counter this item, but for example, if the enemy team has Leona that can counter you through longer distances, you can definitely buy Banshee's Wheel. Also because if enemy has some ability power or AP champions, you can definitely consider this item as well. And finally, Storm Surge. Actually, this item gives you a bit of catching up speed, right? It gives you a built-in movement speed 8%, and that's actually a considerable amount. But it also gives you a squall that grants you movement speed uh, if you damage 35% of champion's maximum health. And this is very easy with your ultimate hitting someone with your fears, and also, as well as if you have a first strike, right? You can definitely proc squall, and it also deals some nice damage, let's say. And it also gives you a magic man. That's very nice. If you're going full magic man build, you can definitely consider this storm surge item as well. So those are the those are my opinion on Fiddlesticks as an assassin and team fighter, and which type of builds and runes or items you would want to go with. So let's kind of go with the combos and gameplay sections. That's why let's go with practice tool, and I will be trying to show you some of the combos that I would like to show you in terms of mm, maximizing your damage. So let's see. Again, as Fiddlesticks, you would want to be playing the assassin type of fighter, and as well as you should play in a way that you should always be threatening the team fights, right? In that way, you would actually become very scary, very fearsome enemy to say for your enemies, right? So let's see this. All right.
Send in the cloud.
All right. Let's give us some levels. All right. So now we can disable the minions. All right. So first of all, combos. So let's see our abilities first, so that we would understand it much better. As you can see, our Q actually this is a nice Easter egg. If you have this skin, actually this icon is purple rather than yellowish, so it's a good definitely a good perspective for this skin. Purchase price Fiddlesticks, but let's go home with the abilities, right? So your Q actually fears the enemies, right? You must know this. And if your fear is much more better than stun, especially when you're flanking the enemies, because after you're fearing them, they move a bit, like they flee from you, like this. I cannot show you on the target enemy, but you would get the idea. So RQ actually deals current health damage, as you can see. Not most of the people know this, but current health actually is so nice. In that we are a ultraline champion, right? So that's definitely something to bear in mind. So let's level up this. And as I said from the runes page, from this elixir of actually I went to Hexdash, but elixir of skill actually gives you another skill point for you to put up to your Q, right? So as you can see, the current damage actually goes up, as well as the duration, and that is also huge. And this duration actually increases. Doesn't only apply your Q. As Fiddlesticks, you can fear enemies if you damage them without you are being seen after you spend some time with your ability, right? That's why, for example, if I'm not let's see it like this. There is a spawn enemy only right here, and I won't use my Q. Now I'm out of sight, and when I use, as you can see, they flee. And that's a very nice combo actually you can do, but actually you have to spend some time to be out of combat, and you cannot do this if the enemy see you. As you can see, I will eat this, it only silences them, right? So, for example, the enemies are chasing you, and then you go into the bush. Wait for a second, and then use your E, and then you can flee multiple individuals. So that's a very nice combo
Who's the
to bear in mind,
special
actually.
birthday cake?
Especially if you use your Q, you can definitely utilize this combo.
That's what
And
I
you
like
can
to
even do it
hear.
with your W. As you can see, the enemy is not seeing me. As you can see, they are fleeing. And I just do that as only using with my W, right? So that's why when you ult multiple enemies, as you can see, they are fearing. Let's put some here. And they didn't fear here, but let's auto refresh cooldowns. Now I am unseen. Now lost all of them, and all three of them actually fleeing. And one idea is that actually you can also fear enemies even if they see you. The idea is that you would just stand still as a you would mimic yourself like an effigy, your passive, right? These these guys, and you would damage them while you're mimicking, and it would still grant you the feeling. And that's a very nice thing to know, because actually some of my ranked games, actually the enemies would consider me some as if I am an effigy, and then I would fear them into ult, and that's very nice combo actually. So those are the basic fleeing mechanics in terms of combo. So before going into QN, let me talk you a bit about effigy placements. And as you can see, your effigy is actually much more efficient than than normal wards, right? As you can see, at 15 level, it lasts for 207 seconds, and that's insane actually. That's so much. That's such a long time for, especially in late games. So try to
Will
use them
everyone
very
die?
strategically
You can
with your
find out.
effigies. In a way, in a late game, or even in an early game, if you fear that you might get invaded through your jungle, you can definitely put some effigy in
Remember to
here.
say
But make sure the
surprise.
enemy doesn't cheese this in early game. That's why you can definitely put some here as well. So after you make sure that, you can definitely use something like this, so that the enemy doesn't invade you on your first clear, because you will be spending your time up here, right?
With Fiddlesticks.
That's one idea, but in the late game, actually,
Always
you would want to be
cannot.
using your effigies uh, into the bushes, right? The thing is that if the enemies see you, actually, they would
Don't be a dummy
react to
dummy.
it if they see you. And also they would react to it if even though they don't see you. But if you place your effigy like this, when you press your 4 key or whatever your trinkets key, it gives you a little bit of direction. And this range is the vision range. And if you choose to, you basically choose a direction to react to your scarecrow, to your effigy. So if you choose like that,
People love
as soon as it
fighting.
sees the enemy moving in this case this didn't work, but it usually does. The enemy, let's see, I don't understand why it didn't work, but there's an there's an dummy here. As you can see, it reacted to it, even though it was in the bush. One thing you can do is that you can place your effigies in a way that they wouldn't react with anyone whatsoever. So you can use it like this, so that it would react to this wall, and even the enemies walk past right here through this pathing. Your scarecrow doesn't trigger. In a way that you can use this in that way, so that if you want this FGB utilizing
Like the
as a
gloves?
ward,
Be
right,
sure to
as a
give
vision.
'em a
So
hand.
definitely keep in mind that as well. So definitely you would want to be using your effigies, especially in such spots. But these are very common spots to check. That's why you can definitely put some here, because
Money
this
trick.
don't get spotted if they enter this side first. You can definitely show this in, I think. And also you can definitely put some in here in these corners, even though they see it, it wouldn't trigger because of the range. Again, the same idea like here. And these effigies actually give some pressure to the enemy, and they would actually threaten them as if you were there, right? So the idea is that you would wanna be placing them as wards, and you can also place them as baits. If you precondition the enemy enough times, and they would get the idea that these are the effigies, and if they don't respect it, you can fake a play that you can act like a effigy and then ultimate inside of them. And the idea is that your effigy after getting triggered makes up random effects, right? For example, let's take one. And this one just escaped like this, and this one actually walked into the enemy, and this one feared them, killed them, and then walked away. And this one again walked into them. But there are some limited options, as you can see. It flashed like this. Even if you don't have a flash, it still works like that. So you can definitely bear in mind that. For example, and one of the reactions is ulting as well, faking the ult. But if the enemy is really good, if you take damage, for example, let's pose as an effigy, not moving. But this is very hard to show. There has to be minions, but if you get damage as an effigy, actually it breaks you out of cover. Or basically this icon. If the enemy checks this icon and it sees it's gone, they will know that you are real Fiddlesticks. So these are one of the most important things I can think of with effigy placements. So let's go with the ultimate combo. So most of the Fiddlesticks I see, including me, was using his ultimate, ulting, and then dumping his skill and then doubling it like this. But this combo, in my opinion, is not very efficient in that. And let's buy items here as well. Now, let's go with some mage items. Let me give me some gold. As I said, Shadow Flame, Malignance. Where's Malignance? I don't see it. Oh my god, where is it? Okay, it's here. Alright, then Void Stub, it's... let's take Sonya's. Alright. So the idea is that the way you would maximize your ult is that after you ult, your ult, as I said, lasts for 5 seconds. After you ult, you would want to be chasing the enemies, because you would want to make sure that your ult, all of this 300 damage hits the enemy. But if you do it like this, Q, E, and then W, actually, the enemy, if they were opponents, they would just walk away, right? So the idea, the combo, the most effective combo, what I would do is that I would ult, and as they fear, I would try to go behind them, and I would make them move against me, because when you fear someone, they will flee away from you, not from the projectile. And if I move myself like this, actually they would react to my champion, not my skill. So that's what you would do with this, and you would try to cut them off with your ultimates. That's why the combo is like this. You would ult and then Q for damage, and then chase them afterwards, so that they wouldn't escape. And then, as soon as the fear is over, you can silence them, again dealing some damage with, and then as a final resort, use your W. Because, as I said, the Fiddlesticks restores 55% of damage as health, and also deals 22% of missing health, and that is huge at the end. And that actually deals so much damage, especially with Shadow Flame. So you would want to use your W as a finisher, but if you can feel confident that the enemy is gonna die with your chain CC, chain lock to be more precise, with your silence and fear. You can definitely use your W so that they wouldn't flash the final W. But if they don't have flash or escape skill or interrupt skills, you can definitely save your W up until last point. So the idea is that again, you would R and then directly use your Q as soon as possible, because your Q current health magic damage. As you can see, it deals 50% current health magic damage, and that is huge. That is actually so huge. And then Q instantly, as soon as the Q is over, filling is over, silence them so that they wouldn't move, and then use W. So these are the basic combo, when actually maximized combo. But again, according to the game state, you wouldn't be able to pull off this combo 100% of the times, right? That's why you would kind of shift your play, and if you must, you can dump all of your skills so that it could maximize your DPS for a short period of time. So those are the gameplays actually you can vary between. And actually, as you can guess, Fiddlesticks do not have that much of combos, and the idea is that you would always want to be securing your W and your ultimate so that the enemies wouldn't interrupt. So one idea is that Q into R, as you might guess. This would ensures that you wouldn't get interrupted during your ultimate, or Q into W. Actually, again, this would enable you to uh, finish your W. Again, the same idea, E into W. Even though it covers the first half, it doesn't cover up until last point. So if the enemy was like Galio or Pantheon, they would definitely interrupt me there. So that's the idea actually. And I talked about a bit about this in the builds, but you can definitely go, I said, go Leanderies. And the idea is that you would play this burning type of play, because your Q deals current health damage, and Leanderies also max health magic damage, right? In a way that you would burn them and then use your W rotations multiple times, 2 or 3 times ideally. So that's the basic gameplay. And it's very important to use your ult from far ends in a way that you would get the idea that if you want to place a ward over this wall, you would know that I would want to be placing them in an order that it goes beyond this half. So at this point, my effigy will try to go into the location that is closest to them. That's why it went up just there. Again, it went up just there. So, again, the same idea with the flash. You must know this. Again, if I'm not placing my cursor like this, I can still go through this wall because I'm beyond this half of this wall. So the same idea with the ultimate. For example, there's something's breaking up here, and you want to be joining as soon as possible. You can definitely ult like this, for example, like here, and you would, if I ult there, for example, let me show. I cannot possibly ult there, right? Because I'm not far enough. But if I can ult like this, actually my ult goes through this wall, and you'd actually walk huge distances. For example, this is a very obvious example. I can ult like this, and then I'm like here, and I can cut them off. So, but please practice them, because you might end up ulting like this, and it's very frustrating, right? So definitely give it a shot in the practice tool. For example, this is a nice spot as well, if they don't know you're here. But the things I would use the most is this one, because when there is Drake fights going on and there's a enemy ward here, I would want to be seeing here and then using my ult like this, so that I would cut this instantly and fear them as a flank, right? Again, your positioning is so important with Fiddlesticks. Speaking of positioning, let's dive into the gameplay version of Fiddlesticks, so that how we want to be playing with Fiddlesticks, given the knowledge that we have with our skills, items, and rune stuff, right?
It's the most
So,
fun in the
as
forest.
you might know, Fiddlesticks is a champion that would like to actually clear your camps, right? You would want to be full clearing with your Fiddlesticks. That's why you would always optimize your jungle clearing with your skills. And the famous idea is that you would use your W's between these two camps. In that you wouldn't waste time. If I were to spend some time with this camp, let's see it here. For example, I'm spending some time. I used one charge of W, and I used two, and now I use three. For example, I use four, again five. This will take five, and then this would 6 and 7 and so on. But if I can chain those camps between like this, actually it would give me an extra FW that I don't have to use. So if you were going to use, let's say 14 or 15 Ws with your first clear, you can use up to 1, 2, 3 and 4 W's less, and that would make up like your W actually takes let's see how much seconds here. Takes 2 seconds, and 4 times by 2, actually it kind of it gives you an extra 8 seconds, and 8 seconds is huge actually. So definitely try to optimize your jungle clearing speed or jungle clearing mechanics. The one idea is that you would let me spawn these jungle items. I mean jungle camps. Where is that? Spawn jungle camps and Baron. So you would want to basically doing that. After you pull this, you can definitely come here. This one is the easiest one. You can definitely do this. And the idea is that as you W, pay attention to this blue damage stat. As you saw, it dealt 1400 damage. So if I start this Gromp, if this blue golem actually is not is around 1400 damage, I can execute them. I couldn't do that, but you would get the idea, right? So, and bear in mind that your jungle pet actually deals 3 or more. Actually, let me buy jungle pets. I would want to show you this. Where's that? Okay, let's take this. As you can see here, I hit my auto attack here. As you can see, jungle pet is hitting. It has just hit for 3 times. Oh, 157, 157. Sometimes it hits too. I don't understand fully, but as you can see, usually it would deal 3 times. As you can see, it dealt 3 times. So you would calculate that if my W is dealing 1400 damage, and then my jungle pet is doing 15 or 150 per second, I can definitely kill some camp with an health of 1700. I mean 1700, right? So that's the idea. You would want to chain your camps like this. And one idea with your game plan, you can, as you can see here, you can use your Hextech Flash like this. This is due to Baron camp, but if you have your opponents here, I mean, for example, if the enemy is pushing too fast and you want to be active in the early game, you can definitely flash like this, so that you would go beyond this wall and then gank here. If you suspect that this ward is, this push is warded, or even if you can very delayed play, but you can wait for the other charge of your Hex Flash. As you can see, it's 16 seconds, and then use it here. Again, the same idea, the flash idea. You would directly come here, or you can even do it like this. Let's see. I actually fucked it up, but oops. Let's see. The idea is that actually you can flash here. Now I realized you should be a little bit more here. Yep. You would kind of get the ult I mean tower damage, but your ult definitely goes through here. As you can see, if I can ult here, I will directly be here. That's a nice wall as well. So these are the ideas. So okay, what as a game plan, what I would be wanting to do as Fiddlesticks is that
Clowning is not.
okay.
I think
Let's see. The enemies are here. The enemy four individuals are here, and we are. Yeah, our team is also in the mid lane. And let's just oops. Let's spawn them here, and then let's spawn them here, right? Let's assume that these are
Did
our
someone
teammates.
order a clownogram?
So the what you want to be doing is that in my own ideas or in my own thoughts, there are two type of game plan you can at least game style you can play with fiddlesticks. One is that in terms of team fights, of course. The other option before going into team fight, actually, you would want to be
Own thing.
directly chasing the enemies off through the map, right? You would want to be always threatening them in a solo queue environment. For example, most obvious ones is that you would want to be, if the enemy ADC is forming here, you would want to be definitely with them. Do not give them an opportunity to accelerate through the game. You would want to be shutting them down, right? For example, you killed the bot lane and then the enemy is coming from this. You can use your ultimate. Your ultimate actually combines so well with the fog, right? And we should be definitely making use of as much as possible. That's why you would play the assassin style. That's one idea. You can
The
definitely look
end.
for picks. But in terms of when it comes to team fighting, one idea is that you would always want to be flanking, right? Flanking the opponents. If if you say that our enemy is actually the enemy is actually fighting in here, we just want to be third partying this and using our ult to disrupt the team fight. Let our team start the fight beforehand, and then we can join the fight. That's one type of gameplay you can definitely check. But as you climb up higher to the elo, the actually your enemies are so good at shutting the fiddle down, and they can always check the flank angles, or even play in a way that you wouldn't have the chance to ult them. For example, if the enemy has wards here, they would definitely playing through this wall, right? And if they know, they would directly eliminate that you wouldn't be here or here. They would directly play here, and if you were to look for a flank angle here and your team is fighting there, you cannot definitely join this fight, right? In terms of flanking, right? And if you show up, the enemies actually show you, and it's a high chance that you get interrupted.
Is
Uh,
everybody
so
happy?
as the games goes on, these are the most restricting gameplay for fiddlesticks to execute. That's why the second type of game plan is that you would always want to play
I believe
behind
the
your
word
team,
you're looking for
especially after the
is
enemies actually get used to your flanking.
aggressive.
They would over respect you. I mean, if they don't respect you, yeah, go ahead, man. Just five man ult them. But if they begin to giving you respect too much, one thing is that you can do is that you can shadow
Laughter is the
yourself
best
between your team
medicine.
like this, and the enemies actually would usually expect you from these angles, right? They wouldn't consider you going into this behind your team, right? That's why let's assume that the team fight started and they expected you come from here or any direction and they warded.
The
One thing you
clown
can do is that
will
you can
die.
start the fight and then join the ult behind the enemy team, or even like this. You can position yourself between the enemy, I mean between your team, I mean behind your team and as far as from the enemy, but the enemy, for example, let's take this. These dummies are AD carry, assume it like that. And if he or she gets threatened, we can ult them to peel them off. You know, like that. So you would get the idea. But also playing this gameplay, you can definitely this gameplay changes according to the enemy team, but you can definitely play oblivious. I mean, blatantly play the team fight like this. Uh, even though we are very ultra rank champion, our Q actually uh, fears them for 2.25 seconds, right? 2.25 seconds, and that's actually so much, especially if you're thinking a game with between 27 minutes, right? Or even the late game. Actually, with one fear, your AD carry and your mid lane deletes them off. And your silence actually a huge deal as well. It silenced them how many seconds? Let's see here. 1.25 seconds. And that's actually so much valuable as well, if you know how to use it well. So, in a way that you play as a pillar with your support, so that you can protect your AD carry with possible assassins, tanks, or whatever it, whatever it threatens them, and you can save up your Q up until the to person that's the most point of interest for you, right? And you hold your ultimate. You would just threaten the ult enemy team like this. You would just go in there, and if they melt you down, I mean, if they focus you, that's good. Even you don't get your ult off, your AD carry will utilize this second, because most of the times you can get catch up, you can get caught while trying to flank, right? After they spot you, they just run you down, and you die 1v5. I mean, if you experience some Fiddlesticks games, these things happen so much. And the idea is that even though you cannot, okay, the enemy says that you cannot use your ultimate. That's nice, but at least I can buy some time and buy some grant utility, or at least threats with my team. So that's the secondary type of gameplay you can play with Fiddlesticks. And actually, the second type of gameplay I like much better, because actually it can definitely threat the enemy teams, and it actually creates so much zone for your team. For example, if I am Fiddlesticks like this, the enemy actually will be respecting me like this, and if I begin to ulting, they will definitely dump their CC abilities on me. But what I can do is that I can I wouldn't use my ultimate like this, and I would either force the enemy to cut me off like this, stick to me, and in that way we are much more we have the team fight advantage uh, uh, in terms of possible damages. But maybe I can explain this in another video. Uh, but the idea is that this is an advantageous position for them, for us, because we are much more in depth than the enemy team. We can definitely eliminate these two in our little circle here than these two that are ahead. So one thing is that we can force them to come to us so that we can gain the teamfight advantage, or the more common thing is that the enemies actually start running off because they would respect your ultimate. And when I move like this, they would again go back. And the idea is that you would create space for your team. And if one enemy makes a mistake like overstepping here, we can definitely eliminate them. And while my team deals with those enemies, I can zone myself in a way that, let's say, the enemy team's starting to follow up on their teammates, and I can let's put it up here. I can position myself in a way that I wouldn't get both interrupted by enemy team, and in the same way threaten these area, so that I can cut my team off. In a way that I can play like this, I can definitely ult here and make it threaten to them. In the same way, this guy cannot escape. So this is again a plain fiddlestick gameplay where you can play with your team, but this is actually the second one is much more harder to pull off, because you should also consider your teammates as well as the enemy. So the easiest option, or even hardest, I mean both are very hard depending on the situation, but the option is that the best option for you is that you can flank the enemies, fear all of them into your team, and then even let alone your fear, your team is definitely gonna win this. So I think these are my main ideas on Fiddlesticks and my style of playing with him. But if you have any other ideas or any other recommendations or any other thing to say about Fiddlesticks or even any his quirks or any tricks that you can know, you can definitely share it with me. I would be so happy to see or listen to your ideas, guys. But if you can even if you can make use of one of my ideas in here, I would definitely
No
be
one
more
ever
than pleasured ever. Like,
housed the
and
evil
mm, these are actually one of the main goals that I'm achieving for these videos. So, thank you. I mean, this is a very long video, but I hope we covered quite a bit of Fiddlesticks gameplay, and I hope you can like it. You like the video, and you can get some ideas from this video. And the idea is that we would actually increase the knowledge to overall knowledge of this champion so that the enemies actually start to adapt to this champion so that new strategies can be found out, right? So thank you very much for listening to guys,
Get
and
a load of my
see you on the next guide videos hopefully, and have a nice one.